Okay, Edgun lovers, now I'm officially an Edgun dealer, reseller, but I only sell custom-tuned Edguns, Matadors especially, or any particular model. I tune them up, but especially I like Matador. So they're going to be tuned. There's nothing out of the box I'm going to sell. I do something special to them, because to me they are a special gun. And when I tune this, right, any Matador or use one, they ask me what's the all tune includes, and I never really put it out there, and people keep asking me. So this video I'm gonna cover what is done with the tune, and especially this regulator. This is the most important part of the gun to make it more efficient, consistent, accurate. And each one of them, these Matadors I sell, the regulators be tuned. This particular video will cover only the regulator, but on the future ones I will get you in detail how the trigger is tuned, all right, and how the barrel is lapped. All that is included in tune. So I don't do too many of these, at the most 4 or 5 a month, so you just gotta bear with me with all the tunes I do. So this will, you'll see how in progress, how I get my hands dirty and actually getting in there, and hope you enjoy the video. All right, the material we're going to use to sand and polish all the O-ring sealing surface are the 3M microcloth. It's a fabric, right? It comes in different grits. We'll use the green one. It's a 400 grit. Gray 600. This blue is 1200, and this pink is, I think, is 4000. They will jump to 8000 grit. And this cloth is very, I mean, you could roll it and stick it into the O-ring groove. Alright, that's what we're going to do. Most of this, even though a flat surface, we're still going to polish it up when you have a static or dynamic application on the O-ring. Alright, when the O-ring slides on a smoother surface, less friction, it'll slide better, O-ring lasts longer. Alright. Alright, this section here, the level washer, we're going to polish up, because we want to reduce the friction when this the level washer, when you apply pressure to it, it slides in and out at this piston. So if you have a smooth surface along the soft aluminum here, it will move freely with less friction. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a Dremel, this is a 600 grit rubber with 600 grit embedded in it. So it's kind of shaped in a way it would go inside and polish the ID and remove the sharp burr on the corners. So what we're going to do is we want to go like this, then use this part to polish the inside. And you got to flip it over on each side. We're not going to remove another material, we're just going to polish it up. Alright, we're going to do every one of these this. And the inside will be polished, smooth, so less wear and tear on your piston here. Next, when you put these together, they're like in a cup. It's like facing each other, alright? The friction contact is on his outer ring, inside of the cup. So what we're going to do is polish the edge of that. We'll use a 600 and demonstrate. We're going to go down, we're going to go 600, 1200. Alright, we're going to lay it on a piece of flat. Well, this is a diamond lap wheel. Diamond on one side, this other side is flat. So what we're going to do is put the cup facing down, and we're just going to make circular motion. This is straight up and down, circular. So what we're going to do is See the edge now? It's kind of polished. And this one isn't. See a difference? You'll probably notice it more if I go to a different grit. Now we'll use the 1200 grit. Then we'll switch over to 2000. Then where's that little cloth? That's all it takes. You don't go doing this for hours. And we'll compare now from the untouched to a polished edge, because these two are going to meet up, have a lot of compression, and rub together. So you want those two surfaces kind of smooth, but create less friction. All right. A run more irregular will fluctuate or will move together more freely when they have that smoother surface together. So we're going to do every one of these discs. All right, we got the continue our polishing here. This piece here is your reg adjuster. Here's your metal seat, and this is the O-ring sealing surface. What we want to do is we want to polish the inside and kind of remove the sharp edge that is here, because when you apply pressure here, this O-ring wants to be forced in there and seal it. So if it's sharp, it's going to get cut up here. It's not going to last as long. So we're just going to polish it, not to remove too much material. We're just going to polish it. All right. This works pretty good on a micro lathe. All right. This is very small lathe, and I got 3 or 4 of them, but this is the one you just mess around with those small parts. All right. I already polished this earlier, but I'm gonna show you again. Just kind of go around here. You know, it spins fast, so you need a couple of seconds. All right. Then you kind of make this enough to fit inside the O-ring groove. All right. And mosquitoes here biting me. All right. And forcing my finger in there. Fingernail, I mean, inside the O-ring groove. There, it's all polished up, nice and clean looking. All right, we'll go to the next piece. Now we have the piston. All right. There's the O-ring groove we're going to polish, and polish some of this shaft, and we'll flip it over and get the rest of it. It's kind of hard to move around with this camera here. I prefer working with 1200 grit. Alright, you just polish it up nicely. You don't have to be super. Alright, so clean it is and polished up. We're going to flip this over, and we'll do the other side. Here we got the other end of the piston, and you don't have to be turning perfectly. We're just going to just buff it up real quick, because the high pressure O-ring sits right here. So we're trying to get that and get the remaining of the piston. That's it. And make sure you don't damage here. Here is your Delron seat here. Alright, we'll continue. We'll go to our next piece. Alright, here we moved up to a bigger lathe because the other one's very limited. So we got here is a transfer port assembly. Alright, the regulator. Here is the forward OD sealing, O-ring groove. We're going to just polish that piece. I like this to make it shiny. Just do the outside first, and then stick it inside the O-ring groove. Try to get the nails in there. Try to get the little corners of the O-ring groove. And sometimes I just go on his edge here and clean it up. And that's that piece. We'll go to the next one. Alright, this piece we have here on the lathe is the upper portion of the regulator, because the adjustment screw goes in here and your high pressure piston goes in here. Alright, we're just going to clean up, since I want to clean the HP O-ring sealing surface is inside there. I was going to shove it in there a little bit, the cloth, and on the other side. So I just want to get this O-ring sealing surface also. It's kind of hard to do this when this camera is taking up my usual spot when I'm on here. Just to adjust. I usually do, I just kind of ravel this up like this and shove it in there. Then you'll see it come out the other side. And I find out a cleaner area. And again, you know, we're removing kind of a loose particles on the surface of the metal you don't see by naked eye. We're removing that and polishing it up. There you go. We'll get the other side. Alright, this we'll touch up on the rest of the back of the section of the regulator housing. The piston goes in here. Remember last video I cleaned up the front, the sealing surface here in the O-ring groove. And the LP piston O-ring goes in here. We're going to touch up that area there. Alright. So what I use to go in here inside the bore is a little chopstick, wood. Just kind of put it around the cloth. And get all the way down to the lip where the sealing surface for the LP side of the piston. Alright, then we'll see how I left off. Shiny here, none here. Before. Alright, we'll cut to your next part. And don't forget about your valve spring. What we're going to do is We're gonna take a little Dremel here. We're gonna clean the sharp edges where the spring was cut, D-lip, and the flat surface here. All right. Oops, can't do this with the camera not centered. There you go. And usually I also take that cloth and run it inside and outside and get it really cleaned up, and really light film of silicone. Not too much, just enough there to cover it. Alright. And what we got here, we got the, don't forget about the valve. This rod here, it travels through this bronze bushing, so you want this to be very clean and shiny also. All right. As you can see, you might think this is bent, but actually not. It's the Delron spring guide is not really straight because it's flexible. You make it seem like the rod is bent, but it's not. Alright. And that's about it on that piece. Alright. The previous video, when I spun the rod, valve rod, it was kind of off center. It said it's not bent. I told you this part is bent. I'll show you. See, it wobbles. So the valve rod is pretty straight. It's only this piece, but this piece has a bushing, and it goes into a hole on the middle section of the body, so it keeps it straight. All right, it's turning freely with the lathe. Looks like it's bent, but it's not. All right, here we have it, a freshly tuned Edgun rig. All right, we put some Vactom O-ring on the outside, and it's already been set to 130 bars. Alright, so anytime you buy a used or new Edgun from me, all the regulators are performed this way. Alright, and hopefully last longer and be more consistent. And it always has, with all my testing it has. So that's it. We'll see you next video.